Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, even you, you as well. Welcome to the fantasy zone. Get ready.
Welcome to the fantasy zone. Get ready.
Dear George and Luke.
Hello.
I get a kick out of watching people have sex.
Well, you're not the only one, let's be honest. I mean, the porn industry is one of the biggest industries in the entire, I was going to say universe, probably is. Even up on other planets, they're probably going, oh yeah, have you seen this new website? Fantastic. Right? It's very, very, very normal.
Do you want to hear what the problem is, George?
The problem is that he gets a kick every time he watches it, right? Because that's how it started. I get a kick when I watch it from my partner who goes, oi, stop watching that there girl when you should be watching me. You should be thinking about me, you shouldn't be thinking about them. Is that what the problem is?
Almost, so not quite, George, not quite. So the problem is, my girlfriend doesn't...
The problem is your girlfriend?
Doesn't enjoy watching people have sex.
Okay.
Right?
Well...
So, for 2 years, I've enjoyed an exciting sex life with my girlfriend. But she has now admitted she genuinely doesn't share my love of the voyeur sex scene.
Wait, so is he watching people have sex, or is just, this is porn? Is he going to a place where they're having sex?
We're going to find out, George. We're about to find out. We're about to break this down, right?
Break it down, Luke.
I thought our thing...
Impress me with the breakdown.
...was watching others have sex, and on occasions being watched by others. So yeah, clearly they're going to spaces. Sure. Yeah? I've known for over 10 years that I'm a voyeur. Oh, wow. I get a kick out of watching others have intercourse, but never had the confidence to share my kink with previous girlfriends. My current one is the first woman I opened up to, and I was delighted that she... You all right there, George? You all right there?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it.
Is that your thinking mode? Yeah, that's
yes.
What that signifies. Okay. But never had the confidence to share my kink.
My finger's thinking.
My current one is the first woman I opened up to.
What I was thinking about is
she was as keen as me to try out my fetish.
I was trying to work out how he opened up to her about it. Right. Like I was thinking maybe they met in a certain way, or, you know.
Well, maybe they met on a kinky night out, and she was like, "Hello, love."
She was having sex with someone else, and he went, "That looks good. I'll have a bit of that." I mean, carry on. I know what I'm thinking already.
No, I know what you're thinking already. I know what you're thinking already.
I'm thinking about people having sex. Fantastic.
I know exactly what you're thinking.
Get the camera off so I can think about it in private. That's why my arms keep doing this. My arms keep moving. My hands keep stroking my knees. Yeah, turning me on. This is
escalated right now.
I'm like Adrian Edmondson in Bottom. Yeah. Or what was that guy in Shooting Stars?
Yeah. Suits you, sir.
Yeah, suits you, sir.
We only ever share Paul Whitehouse. It
wasn't Paul Whitehouse. It was the other one. The one with the glasses. Oh,
Yeah.
He's a baby.
We only ever share this experience with the full consent of others. I'm glad to hear it. The people we get involved with.
It wasn't a while, no consent from others. You know, just full consent or a little bit or none. You know, most of the time.
I love the fact that you felt you had to tell us that.
Yeah,
we did assume that there was consent. The people we get involved with always know we are watching and enjoy putting on a show. It's all right, fair enough. I'm 31 and my girlfriend is 29. Send the number.
All right, so before we carry on, because sometimes Luke says something and I forget this thing, what I was going to say. So I'm just going to interrupt. Yeah, that's why I interrupt, to make sure I don't forget. But enough. Basically, I keep saying that word, don't I?
You do.
Basically. Right? Look up basically and you'll see a picture of me. But basically...
unbasic person.
When a man starts a relationship with a woman, thanks for that, take it as a compliment. When a man starts a relationship with a woman, this is what it's like. I've given this analogy in other contexts, but this is a very, very good analogy, so I'm going to use it for this one. When you walk into a house, right, it's very normal to want to check things, okay? Does it work? Does the plumbing work? Do the lights work?
George, I never do that when I walk into a house.
Well, if you're gonna rent a house, if you're gonna buy a house, it's likely to go check the walls. Now, when a woman meets a man, think of it like he is the house and she is considering moving in, right? At first, she's like, okay, I'm moving in. So she's going to start checking and testing the walls and things. Meaning sometimes she actually gives him a bit of shit and like says some things and things. Because what she's doing is she's testing him. What kind of a man is he? Will he react to this? Will he react to that? If I tell him I think that man's handsome, how is he going to react? If I tell him I'm going to go out and see my friends, how will he react? If I don't respond to that text message, how will he react? It's like moving into a house and she's like, what happens if I press this button, if I press this button, if I push this wall, da 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 da. Now, the point is if she likes the house, there are certain things where she'll be like, okay, I don't know about this thing, but I like so much of it that I'll make do with the fact that the shower, say, isn't very strong, or the fridge isn't that cold, or there's a train line that runs past, once every 6 hours, but it's a small sacrifice to make because the rest of it is so secure and protects me, and that's all lovely. And that's kind of what the man is to her. It's like, okay, here are the flaws I'm not crazy about, but the overall is great. And the point is sometimes a relationship can begin and he essentially drops in these little things and she's like, well, I'm not crazy about the voyeur stuff. The voyeur is the equivalent of the train line next to the house, but the rest of it's good. But it doesn't mean that she ever actually liked it. It just means that she's like, I will put up with it and pretend I like it because he's established it in the beginning. Now, the interesting thing with this is because you've set that very, very quickly, you were like, this is what I like, and you let her know, then it's actually something that's obviously carried on for quite a few years. And if you're like, well, this is what I like and that's that, and you've established it, you can just carry on. You could be like, this is who I am, this is what I enjoy. It doesn't sound like you're even cheating on her or sleeping with other people. It's just you're observing it. Maybe you're swinging, I don't know. But it is something where like you could just carry it on. Better you did it the way you did it than if you were to make out like, oh, it's a lovely house, everything's fine. And then like 2 years later, oh, by the way, there's a train that's going to run past. If you did that, she'd be like, no, we don't want that. That's really bad. Okay, I don't want a train. Oh my God, how am I going to cope? So point being, if you brought it up now and be like, by the way, I want to go and have like sex, or I want to watch sex with other people, she'd be like, what? No, because she thinks this is home, this is safe, this is how it works. Don't bring something weird and new into the house. But because you've already established it, you can just carry it on. It is like the week shower. And she's like, well, I guess I'm used to it, right? I might not like it. I'd like a nicer shower.
George, or what?
I'd like a stronger shower, but I'm used to it. So the point is it can carry on because it's been pre-established. But no, it doesn't mean that she was ever that crazy about it. That said, I've got two other analogies here, or thoughts. Number one, maybe she does like it because it's unusual to think that any woman wouldn't find it a bit of a turn on to some degree because you are watching human beings getting off with each other. So there is an element of, well, it's kind of an amorous way to spend an evening in it, or an afternoon. But the other thing is she's a woman, so she also thinks her reputation is at stake and things. So it would be really weird if she didn't object to it at some point. And what you might find is she's just going to object so that she's essentially played out her womanly role and been like, oh, I don't really want to do that. Oh, it's kind of crass. Oh my God, maybe we shouldn't do it. Because that way she can at least say to other people, should they ever find out, I tried to stop him, but I love him. But I said it was wrong. And then she can kind of save face because at least she tried. Okay, does that make sense? Because women will do that. Like she might be like, I do kind of like it, but I have to say that I don't, because then I can feel okay about it, right? Because it's very important. A woman's reputation in like a community means an awful lot to her. It means more to women than it does to you for lots of reasons. One being, if you're a man in the jungle, you're like, my reputation means less than me being able to go out and get food and forage and hunt, right? I can go and... Well, I can go and do that. Yeah. I don't depend upon someone else to do it. Whereas a woman historically did. She depended on you. So she's like, I want everyone to sort of love and care about me and not neglect me. Because she's like, if I was to get ostracized and kicked out of this tribe, if she's living in like a tribe in the middle of the wilderness, she's like, that's really, really dangerous for her and her children. If they're like, oh my God, she's weird. No, she wants to fit in. But oftentimes men don't care to fit in that much because men are like, I'm going to go and be, you know, that guy, like he says in Pulp Fiction, basically, I'm just going to walk the earth. What do you mean walk the earth? You know, like Kane in Kung Fu. It's a male fantasy to just walk the earth like a lone soldier, right? Nothing tying you down to any place. But less so is that a female fantasy. The female fantasy is be protected, have people around her who love her, who will keep her and her children safe.
Her offspring.
Her offspring. So it's normal for her to object to something like that because she knows that at the communal level, it is kind of frowned upon. And it's a lot of people might think it's a bit strange. So it's in her natural survival instinct to say, I don't think this is such a good idea.
Sure.
But does that mean you have to stop? No, it's just something she had to say at some point. Anyway, it is quite an unusual thing. So now I've got to let you carry on.
Thank you, dear Georgie. So we've seen a couple of sex shows on holiday and attended swinging parties where we watched others. We've also had sex in the same room as another couple after watching them get intimate.
That'd be weird. As a guy, I think if I just got an intimate with a woman and then like I climax and it's like, oh, this is great. And then I'm supposed to watch two people have sex in the room.
You wouldn't be in the mood for it, would
Yeah, I
you?
wouldn't be in the mood. I'd be like, I just finished.
I'm alright, thanks.
It's like going, tell you what, watch the porno after you've finished. It's like, no, that's
Not how it works.
yeah, it's not how it works. You're doing it in reverse.
You'd want to be the second couple each time, wouldn't you? You'd be throwing the coin, heads or tails, who goes second?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I wouldn't want to be the second couple because I wouldn't want two people watching me who are going like this.
Oh, right, yeah.
For sake, like I'd want to be the first couple. I'd be like,
I guess they're getting kind of off of it. That's the whole point, right? They're getting off of watching the couple.
they're getting off on being watched.
Well, both. I think it's both.
But they would be there next thing going, why don't you wait 45 minutes? We'll all try again, you know. Or maybe less, 15 minutes might do, you know. All these young, healthy, potent people.
Right. Neither of us want to involve someone else in our sex life, okay? But we did once get another man to film us having sex. I felt so turned on knowing another man was watching us.
No, it would be a turn on. I mean, maybe not the man, but I think the whole camera, like if your partner's into it, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to get to watch this back. See how good the love between us is. Isn't it wonderful and strong?
I enjoyed the experience so much, I suggested asking a woman we know to film us the next time. Oi, love, do you mind filming us? Have you got a nice camera phone?
That camera, that's a good that camera phone is very good. I like it. You know what you should do with that? Me and the missus, right? We're going to get off of each other tonight. Right, schlong's going to come right out.
Schlong's coming straight
Decent
out.
size it is, not bad. Looks even bigger when you put the camera up close. Why don't you bring it along? You know, got some nice lights. We'll give you a bit of We'll give you a bit of a meal. Mascarpone, it's delicious. You'll like it.
Maybe some mince pies.
You'll have a bit
love.
of a gossip with the wife, and then you can film us in bed together.
Right, but I was taken aback when my girlfriend admitted she'd had enough of voyeurism.
Taken aback.
She admitted she'd only went along with it for my benefit. Now I feel like she wasn't honest.
That's an interesting thing. Taken aback, meaning.
Yeah, you're like taken aback. Whoa.
I mean, it sounds like taken aback, but it's like I was taken aback.
You didn't take anyone's
But
back.
when you are
were
taken, you're like forward, aren't you?
Because
you're like,
taken in front.
oh, she was so beautiful. I was so taken with her. But this is I was taken aback. And I'd like to have actually seen that moment. Did she say, do you know what, I'm not crazy about this whole voyeurism thing? And he was taken. Anyway, you get the point.
He's still there now. As he wrote this, he was like, in a kind of suspended, taking aback.
Suspended animation.
Position. Right. Now I feel like she wasn't honest with me.
He wanted a picture taken of her back.
We don't have the sexual connection I thought we had.
No, you do.
She asked me to see...
Women say things they don't always mean.
She asked me to see a sex counsellor, and I've agreed to, but I don't really know where to start.
No, you shouldn't have agreed to. Oh, step number 1. She's going to start losing attraction for you real fast. First of all, right, women are going to fucking hate me for saying this, but some of them are going to go, you know what, he's telling the truth, it's true, right? Because I've helped a lot of guys out in their, trying to date and find love and fix love and all that sort of stuff. And one thing I've seen a very, 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 you know who's going to really hate me for this is like sex counselors and things like that. No, sex counselors are quite good, right? It's couples counselling that could be a problem, and they're going to hate me for saying it. But oftentimes, couples counselling...
If the truth is the truth, it don't matter, bad boy.
Couples counselling can be a problem. Not always. We even spoke to 2 people in the park, didn't we, who said that they had couples counselling. You can watch that. It's a different video, right? It all happened live. They came and had a chat with us, and they told us all about their couples counselling. But sometimes a woman will be like, we should go to couples counselling, and then they go to speak to somebody about essentially taking charge of their relationship. And the problem is women are attracted to a man who's like, I'm the man of the house, I can take charge, don't do this, because it seems like a punching motion, but that's not the point. It's more of a judge kind of emotion. This is how it's going to be. Now, if you can do that in a sort of civilized, think of it like a man leading the troops, like I'm here to protect you kind of a way. If the man leads the relationship in that way to make him safe, her safe, children safe, she can respect that. As soon as you put it into the hands of someone else, a female couples counsellor or a male couples counsellor, she's like, oh, he can't steer this ship. Yeah. We've had to go to this other bloody captain to steer the ship. And therefore her attraction almost always deteriorates. Ditch. And he's sitting there going, I've come to this couples counselling to try and fix this relationship, and all it seems to be doing is making it worse. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, it is making it worse because she's thinking you have not got essentially the wherewithal,
the cojones,
the not even a cojones. I mean, yeah, but she's thinking you haven't got what it takes to steer this ship and get it to land, and she wants to know that you can do that. So as soon as you go, yeah, all right, let's go. I'll go to this couples thing. It's not really good at it. Now, I don't want to put down all couples counsellors because in many ways, you know, we are them. Well, so there is such a thing as a good thing. But you can get it. And what I would say to you, and I'd say it's really best for couples counsellors, is do it solo. Like say to her, no, I'm not going to couples counsellor together, but I will speak to a professional and work things out. Because at least then you're sort of taking charge and you're doing it on your own back. And if you go to somebody who can give you good advice that you can implement as a man into the relationship, she doesn't need to know every bit of advice you're being told. She just needs to have fun and be swept off her feet and be like, oh, this is great, I'm excited, life is good again, right? But that's a safer bet, because I'm not trying to unemploy couples counsellors, but like, you don't have to go as a couple. You can go as 2 individuals and not essentially. And then the other problem is this: when women and men go to couples counselling, women often get attracted to if it's a guy doing the couples counselling, they get attracted to him. Because it's like, well, there's a real man. Yeah, well, he knows about relationships. He knows how to take me out. He knows what would be enjoyable in my life. And she starts thinking, that's the guy who's protecting us. And that's not really something you want to do. So as soon as she suggested that, you shouldn't have just instantly gone, yeah, okay. But you could have said, I'll give it some thought, and then you could have done it privately without letting her know.
So she's asked me to see a sex counsellor. I've agreed to, but I don't really know where to start.
This is where you start. This is it, you done it. You started by writing a letter asking for help.
It feels like sexually we are on 2 different wavelengths, and I'm not sure if we have a future.
This guy's raw, isn't it? I mean, it's quite interesting to is that the end of it?
Yeah.
It's
the end of it.
He should have ended by begging us for some sort of assistance. He said, please, George and Luke, why don't you help me? But so
I think
you do have a future,
totally.
But it's crazy to end it by saying we're on 2 different wavelengths. I don't know if we have a future. First of all, you are a guy with essentially a fetish, right? And it's not that unusual a fetish, because historically couples did have sex in the open. There's lots of like documents and things that say that it was quite normal for 2 people to have sex quite in the open. Allegedly, one of the reasons it became more private, close the curtains, turn off the lights, make sure nobody's watching, is because of the safety needs of it. Because you're both in a very vulnerable position. If you're having sex, and there could potentially be, something dangerous around. So if you're out, in a cave in the woods, it's like it could be a bit of a risk. But equally so, if you're around people you love, then you could feel even more safe to do it in a communal group. So it's not that unusual to have the fantasy and make effort to live it out as you have done. But what is that?
That was the
Is that
wind of the willows, my Sir
that was
George.
the wind sighing at your terrible, perplexing problem.
It's the rose at the window, the rose bush.
The twigs are tapping at the window saying, let us in, we'll give you advice. Nature wants to caress you and let you know that you are a part of it. But anyway, so the thing is women do change over the course of a relationship, meaning she wants like a family, she wants children. So in the beginning, it's like, yeah, woo, sex, da 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 da. That's what women do, because it's like, yeah, it's like, think of the young woman who likes the bad boy. Oh yeah, he's cool, he's got a Harley Davidson, he smokes a cigarette, he's so cool, man, he listens to rock and roll. And then she sort of like just starts having sex, and that's all she's really fussed about. But then it's like, oh wait, children, oh my God. And then she starts to kind of change and grow up a bit, you know, and think, oh my God, no, wait, I can't be doing that. I can't be staying up all night. Oh my God, I can't smoke. It's bad for the children. And she starts to change because she's like, now my focus is on this. It's on the children. So in her head, like, she's thinking all kinds of perfectly normal and in many ways like respectable things, which is like, well, yeah, this is great to have a baby. This is a great environment to have a baby. We're very sexually turned on by each other and other people. But once a baby comes, do I really want this to be the reputation for our children? Do I want people gossiping about the kinds of people we are? Do I want it to rub off on the kids? Do I want their friends to maybe make fun of them because they hear that the parents are like voyeurs, right? She's like, I don't want any of that. Yeah. So it's very normal for her to start to shift very quickly into essentially a more maternal character. Okay, so that's all that's happening. And the thing is if you go, I don't know if we have a future, blah, 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 well, you're unlikely to ever find a woman who won't eventually make that transition. Yeah, you'll get the woman who's like sexually turned on, but once it starts to become serious and her body and brain starts preparing for the possibility of children, she's likely to kind of, wait, maybe this isn't so good in this day and age, in our culture, in our community. I don't want to be known for that. So you have a bit of an issue. But I would say you could carry it on in a certain way, but you want to say to her, have a proper conversation and say to her, you know, what it means to you, and also how like it like dress it up as normal. To be like, listen, we're not cheating on each other, we love each other. All those people out there, they're all watching porn. Like, everybody watches it. There's got to be a statistic that like 99% of people with access to a computer and stuff watch pornography, right? And you could be like, we're more normal than them because they're watching a screen. They're sitting there with a phone in their hand because they're scared to actually go and partake in actual human behavior. How can they watch porn and call us weird when we're just seeing it in real life? Now, even to me, it seems it's an unusual thing to be like, yeah, 3 days a week I go and watch people have sex in front of me. You know, I sip my cup of tea and watch two people have it off of each other. But you could put it to her that way and say, well, if anyone was to gossip or whatever, you'd say to them, have you never watched pornography? Has your teenager never watched porn? Has your husband never? Like, of course, like all of them have. So you could dress it up and say, I feel like what we're doing is more natural and more human, and try to put it that way. But at the end of the day, don't hold it against her for essentially being more motherly and thinking ahead. Because she has to do that. That's what.
In a sense, I think it's almost a compliment in a way that she's sort of now saying maybe she's had enough or she wasn't really into it, because she, as you say, George, she's kind of maturing into the relationship. She's thinking about the future, about possibly having children with you, and she doesn't really want to necessarily have this kind of energy within your, you know, your family life, your potential family life. So, you know, I think you're maybe taking it a little bit too much to heart, if I'm honest, mate. I think you guys can work this out. As George said, I think you can either continue on your own route, and you know she's going to continue with you, or if you feel at the end of the day, I don't think it's necessarily going to be the be all and end all. You know, I think, as George said, people watch pornography. I mean, you're just watching it live.
You're probably watching it right now.
you
You've probably got
are.
it on that screen whilst you're watching this on this screen.
it.
You're listening to this while watching that. Why not, right? That's
Why
an even
not?
better way to watch this show.
I don't think it's a big deal, to be honest, though, what they do, what he's into. I don't think it's a particularly outrageous kink, if I'm honest.
Oh, no, not all. Ultimately, what you're talking about is connection. I often think it is
That
crazy.
old chestnut.
It is crazy to think that we get drawn to television, YouTube, gizmos, phones, all these gadgets, video games.
I love Gizmo.
And
He's a lovely
ultimately,
bloke.
is any of it much better than just being with like a fellow human being? The amount of stimulation you get just from touch. You know, Bobby Fischer said, it's the thing I put at the beginning of my book, Cure for Loneliness. He said on his deathbed, nothing is more healing than the human touch. That was Bobby Fischer's last words. Someone who dedicated his life to, it was usually between a man and a
I'm
woman. is what he
healed,
meant.
ladies and gentlemen.
He meant it between a guy and a girl. But he dedicated his life to chess, which drove him a bit mad. And you wouldn't necessarily think that someone who dedicated his life to chess would on his deathbed say nothing is more healing than the human touch. But it's because he craved the human touch his whole life, and chess is something that pulled him largely away from having that kind of human connection, because he was obsessed with this tremendous skill and this genius that he had, but to what cost?
Sure.
And a lot of people know that. They're like, I'm trying to get successful. I'm in the office. I'm trying to buy the car. I'm trying to get the house. Da, da, da. And it's all taking you away from what? The human touch. So you're not even swinging. You're being faithful to your partner, but you're just happy to see that love exists between other people too. So I kind of I think it's interesting. I'm open-minded to it. If your wife doesn't want to join you, I will. You know, we'll have a good time. I'll go there, give you a cuddle and a caress. But yeah, I think that to say that it's to be honest, if you think that you and your partner haven't got a future, then you got more problems than this. Something else, you know, something else is afoot, and it's. You got some other kind of trouble, I would say. But if that's your only trouble, she you know, grow up a bit, because she's got to get ready to be maternal and motherly, and you have to respect her for that, and really you have to love her for it as well, because that's all part of it's all part of life. It's part of the process.
Well, listen, I wouldn't necessarily. I don't know if we can we say that we've solved the problem, George?
Yeah, we have solved the problem.
All right.
He can go to get some sort of counselling thing in private, which he
Yeah.
has just now, because she might not watch the video. And then he can, what was the other advice that I gave? Can't remember. You have to hit the rewind button.
He can do stuff.
He could do this thing and that thing and a bit of what's it.
Right.
But basically, I said, you know,
Basically.
it doesn't mean they have to stop.
No.
It's just something she had to say.
Yeah. That's it.
And if she's like, da-da-da, you can put forward the argument, they all watch porn.
Yes,
We're more
yes.
human and normal than they are, right? They're
That's
just
a
in
bit
this
weirder,
modern old
really.
nonsense. It's sort of like, what's better, speaking to someone on a phone or speaking to someone face to face? You know, it's
these
not
days.
that different. And you could put it to her that way,
Yeah.
but ultimately, you know, if you love her, then you certainly shouldn't end it. And
No.
if you don't, then the problem isn't this. So.
Problem solved.
Hey, you there, I've got some really exciting special news. If you're interested in all the kind of things that we talked about in that video just there, you're gonna love this. There it is, look at that. It's written by me. It's called A Cure for Loneliness, as you can see right there. And I spent about a year of my life writing it to make sure that it would be good and fun and accurate and entertaining and all those things that make something, you know, worthwhile. And I'm extremely excited to say that people have actually responded really well, and they've been reading it all over the world. I've gotten reviews from people who say that they've read it twice. Somebody actually wrote to me recently to say that he'd read it 3 times. I was flattered if anyone had read it once, but to read it 3 times. Some excerpts of things that people have written to me about it are, it's a great and fun read, not the tedious intellectual kind. For me personally, this was a reminder that reading can be an awesome pastime. A lot of books are boring as fuck, but not this one. Thanks very much. And anyway, those are only the first responses that I got. Quite recently, somebody wrote to me from China and said that he's now in a relationship with a girl he met on a train, all he says, because he read this book, and he said that it inspired him to go over to a girl that he liked on a train, yes, a public train, and start speaking to her. And now he says they are in a relationship and it is going well. So if that kind of thing interests you, or maybe you're just interested in the kind of psychology that, you know, we talk about on these videos, you're going to get a lot of it in depth, including my own experiences and how I kind of came to learn all of this stuff and reach this place myself. You're going to get all those stories within this. It's fantastic. Trust me, it's the best book you're ever going to read in your entire life. I wouldn't put a year of my life into writing something worthless, would I? So, you know, jump in, have fun. You can find it on amazon.com.co.uk, any Amazon, even the Amazon jungle. It's only about $10, I think it's $8.99, something like that, with free shipping. So crack on, have some fun, and, you know, let me know what you think. Till next time, bye.